Hi everyone. A lot of people have asked me to show them my FPV setup. I prefer to call it my FPV mess, as a lot of you will probably agree. But look, it works for me, so I keep using it. It's tried, true and tested. I'll take you for a bit of a walk around now and show you the ground station mess up or setup. Okay, well here is the ground station. And the first thing we'll look at is the 1.2 gig pepper box antenna. This is the second version of the pepper box. The first version had two separate boxes where you could see the crosshairs. The third version has what looks like a transparent blue box. On the top of the pepper box I have my omnidirectional antenna, my Mad Mushroom. Just with a pepper box you really just cannot fly behind it, and because I have mine so far away from where I sit, you just can't get up and turn the antenna when you're coming in for a landing. So I have a switch box that I switch between antennas, but I simply put the receiver at the back of the pepper box here. As you can see, it's got Velcro on the back of it, and it's just Velcroed onto the back of the pepper box, and it works very well. I've been out to 12-14 kilometers just with the Omni, with a 1.5 watt transmitter. By pure mistake I thought I was on the pepper box, but I ended up being on the Omni. As you can see, the receivers I use is the ready-made RC, and this is the older 4-channel receiver, but I think I like it more than the newer one. Anyway, so that's sitting on a ancient camera tripod. That tripod goes back to when I was 17 years old doing a photography course, and there's been a lot of years since then. Now, one of the most important things for 1.2 gigahertz is the distance between that and where I sit. And you can see that's around about 10 to 12 feet. Normally I have a little bit further, but today I'm not doing really long distance, so I'm not too concerned. Now, this is the mess up part of my ground station. Everyone wants me to bolt it all down to a piece of wood, but I really don't like carrying too much weight onto the field. There's enough I've got already. As you can see, antenna 1 from the pepper box is coming in here into the Eagle Tree Eagle Eyes, and here is antenna 2 from the omnidirectional coming in. Oh, sorry, this is the pepper box, and this is the Omni up here. I have these going out to the Fat Shark goggles. I have these wires going off to the DVR, and I power it with a battery over here. So it's just sitting on top of my flight bag, and it looks messy, works well. I have the cable going off to my Fat Shark goggles, and here is my DVR, Hobby King DVR. Wouldn't fly without it. Just absolutely fantastic DVR. Only trouble is the file format. You just need to convert it from the ASF format. YouTube doesn't like it. It's a bit crappy. Get a good video producing kit and convert it into MP4 for YouTube. It's great. It's a new monitor I just bought. Mainly this is just to ensure that I have all the video switched on right and it's recording properly. I don't know how many times I've actually taken off and found that I wasn't recording. So this is just a quick check to make sure that in the bottom left hand corner I've got the flashing red recording sign. And for anyone who walks along and wants to have a look at what I'm doing. It's amazing how many people come up and ask you what you're doing when you've got antennas sticking up all around you. And that's about it. today I don't have the UHF antenna, I just have my Turnigy 9X sitting here with the SRH771 antenna on it. And next to it I have my mini Talon, just about ready to get the battery set up and ready to go. But that, in overview, is the ground station. Of course, the Australian chair, I have to have the Australian chair, and the separation of the pepper box. But you'll notice I've got really good cables coming down here. Look at the yellow one, how thin it is, and look at the extension cord that runs back. That's really good quality, thick cable. I've noticed that running, you know, a length of cable with very low quality wire does cause some problems, and you can also introduce noise. But that's it, my gear is all separated, it's all messy, but it works very well for me. Okay, this is the mini Talon. Fantastic little plane, and I'll just show you its setup. Mainly interested in the video. So down here you can see I've got my Sony cameras. I love my Sony cameras, they're fantastic. And I have them on basically the default settings. I don't have any special settings. So here you can see the lead coming out of the camera, and of course what's around it? A ferrite core. It's just absolutely essential in my setups. So I'll put that there, and here is the video transmitter, 800 milliwatt transmitter. Cable coming out of that, again, ferrite core. Not sure that it's all that necessary here, but I wouldn't fly without them. So that's my little tricks. The transmitter here, you can see I've taken it out of its gold case. These are the ones you can get from Ready-Made RC. Personally, I buy these ones from Surveil Zone. They're exactly the same, and they're a hell of a lot cheaper, and shipping is cheaper as well. And of course I use the IB Crazy blue beams. I've never actually used a Mad Mushroom on the aircraft. I'll have to try it one day. So that's the video setup. Now these wires look messy, but they actually just tuck back in here, so they're out of view. And yep, I separate them in there. I'll just put my hand in later and separate them. I don't wire tie them together. There's a reason for that. When I do things like that, I find I have problems. I get interference. So I try to separate these things as much as possible. The transmitter here sits on Velcro and sits that way. I have the rubber bands, would you believe, just to help hold it down. I don't want to lose my video transmitter in flight. And what I was saying earlier was with these transmitters, I take the gold case off them, and you can see I put cooling fans, or heat sinks on them, and they are glued on with a special cement. It's a heat conducting cement. Just don't epoxy them on or anything, because it won't conduct the heat. So I went to a shop here in Australia, J-Car, and I bought the special cement that transfers heat. And look, flying it with these, I've landed and it's been extremely cold on a hot day. The one trouble is, and these won't help, is here in Australia when it gets very hot, just solar hot, that you've got this big strong sun beating down on it and it's running. I've had it quite often shut off on the ground because just the sun is heating it up and there's no wind, and this thing just will not cool it. Something to watch out for. So I often cover it with my hat on a hot day to stop it. Inside the plane, I'm not going to spend too long. I've moved the battery. That's not quite where it sits. It sits a bit forward than that. I've got my Vector here in the middle, and back down here I've got my Dragon Link and my ESC, which are a bit messed up at the moment. I need to sort that out. GPS is down near the back, and of course the big question I get asked is about 1.3 and UHF, and you can see my UHF antenna is right down here, right on the outside of the wing. So as you can see, there's a fair amount of separation, and I've run this actually with a 1.5 watt transmitter as well. No interference, no problems with Dragon Link. So a lot of people say you can't run 1.5 watt 1.3 and UHF. Well, I say you can, because I've done it, as long as you separate. Big key to all my stuff is it doesn't have to look nice, but it has to be separate and ferrite cores. This is the UHF antenna I bought from AliExpress. It's a 5-element Yagi. You can see the last element is bent due to it falling over in strong wind, but works really well. Very happy with it. I've got a fairly tall pole and running back into my my transmitter.